I will start today with roads. I want to talk to the Road Safety Commission about what happened yesterday in the morning and in the evening. Too much traffic in town. Yesterday on my way to Ada, I used a certain road. I used the Gifford Road, and then I got onto the Mahama Road.
Right.
And then there's this sort of steep, I don't know what to call it.
I get it.
Yeah, I don't have the English. So basically, the road it goes up and comes down.
Some anti-incline.
Good. So basically, you drive over the airport hills.
Yes.
So a Kia truck loaded with cement had broken down at the edge of the slope. Oh. So basically, at the cusp of that road, and it blocked. You can say 2/3 of the road. This caused massive amounts of traffic, basically a gridlock. And now the reason it's problematic is that somebody had started complaining about that traffic from around 8:30 on the radio.
That's true.
And I got to that place around 10:30, and it was still the same.
Nothing was done.
So in 2 hours, a city cannot organize to remove. And this is not a massive truck. This is a Kia truck, which is like medium-sized truck. All right. And I drove from 37 area. Clearly, if some tow vehicle had been dispatched from road safety or from some place, they could have moved it. So there's just not enough responsiveness.
Yeah.
All right. And then prior to this, there was a major traffic incident near airport police station. Yeah. And that led to traffic all the way to Atomic Junction. Yeah. And then in the evening as well, because of the rain, those going to Weija area, they couldn't get home.
Yeah, so it was terrible last night.
There's clearly some systemic failure around managing movement in the city. And we think that the duty bearers need to do more. So I'm going to put a few of them on the line this morning to get responses from them. Let's talk about road traffic. Abraham Amaliba is a lawyer. He's also the DG of the National Road Safety Commission. We want to speak to him on some of the issues. So good morning, Mr. Amaliba. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning to you, Bernard, and to your listeners.
Yesterday was a nightmare for road users on the main Legon-Accra corridor. They started complaining about traffic since like 7:30. And as of like 9 a.m., it hadn't cleared. Apparently, a big truck carrying some machine got broken down near Airport First Junction, and that caused the traffic. Later that day, there was also massive traffic on the overhead at Palace. Apparently, a truck loaded with cement broke down on the place that passes over the airport hills and led to traffic all through to East Legon. I know you are in charge of road safety, but looking at what is causing these kinds of traffic, the fact that when a vehicle breaks down, we are not able to move it and it blocks the whole city, what can you say about it? And is it within your remit as Road Safety Commission to do something about this?
Well, this brings to fore the issue of towing services. You remember there was an airline that passed. It has been passed, but it's been suspended, where all owners of vehicles were to pay a certain amount upfront when they were going to register their cars or they renew their roadworthy certificate. And there was uproar in this country. So even though the law has been passed, it has been suspended, and there's a rethink of the law. Now, the rethinking is that, and that one will go to Parliament very soon, is that all owners of vehicles must subscribe to an insurance company or a towing services. I think the earlier one was that it was going to go to one person or so, and so Ghanaians, the monopoly in it was the issue. But the new thinking is, and this is going to be in that Okada legalization LI, which will go to Parliament very soon, is that, and when the law is passed, every owner of a vehicle must subscribe to a towing service or an insurance company, so that when there's a breakdown of this nature that you have described, you just call your subscriber to come to your aid. Now, the road safety, the law would require that if you fail to do that, the road safety would come in place to tow the vehicle, but you'll be surcharged for that. So probably if this is passed, it may reduce, because for now, it appears it's all there's no regulations governing these towing services.
So, which means that there are towing companies who will be made known to us, so that in doing your vehicle registration or registration renewal of your roadworthiness, you then pay. So, will there be like some sticker? Do you know the modalities? Are the details out yet, or this is still at the discussion stage?
So, we will certify some towing services for road users, owners of vehicles to subscribe to. Now, when you have a breakdown, you will now place a call to your towing services to come to your aid. It is that simple.
Wonderful. And if we fail to get our towing company or insurance to move it within a specific period of time,
yeah, there's a specific period of time. Yes,
the state, because the concern is that a lot of people are irresponsible, and the bottlenecks that these things cause. So one would have thought that for certain sizes of vehicles that get broken down, maybe articulated trucks or certain kinds of vehicles, maybe there should be an automatic intervention of the state and a surcharge for the purpose of preventing what happened yesterday. Because if, for example, this new law you are proposing comes to pass, if the truck driver says, I can't reach my master, and he has not paid for towing, we could be in traffic for 2 hours. Yes, the state will tow it, but by the time the state deals with the thing, traffic is already caused. So maybe you should think about it in a way that for certain kinds of vehicles, you will proactively move in and tow immediately, so that the issue of traffic will not be occasioned by this type of problem.
We are going to ensure that the capacities of those companies that are going to be certified is top-notch. Now, the fallback is what I have said. The states would also be in readiness to ensure that after that number of hours, it's some 30, 45 minutes or so, if they don't come to tow it, then road safety would also now move in to tow it. Automatic is not like electricity. When lights go off, the towing car must move from somewhere to that place. But there will be towing cars too on certain streets, permanently. These are the highways. Those will be permanent. And at the moment, I know the road safety management services have their vehicles on some of our major roads in this country. So they will be close to the vehicles when they break down, and then they can easily come in to deal with that.
Wonderful. Previously, we spoke to you about the preponderance of billboards in Accra and how some of them were haphazardly installed on road medians. For example, Boundary Road on the East Legon side, there are lots of them, and there are many on the Ring Road as well. I believe you are responsible for road safety, and therefore you have a mandate to clear those wrongly placed billboards. What has happened since that conversation?
So I have written what I call compliance notices to all 29, I think so, municipal and district assemblies in the Greater Accra region. I've written to them they have the responsibility. They are the ones who are licensing, what do they call them, the advertising companies, and they are the ones erecting those things. So they should remove them. Now, within 21 days, and we are counting, if they don't, we would have to enforce the law by suing them in court for the court to come in and deal with them. I am about to hold a meeting with all the district assemblies in the Greater Accra region to bring them up to speed with the work of this Road Safety Authority. I think for a long time, this Road Safety Authority has been dormant, so they have taken things for granted. So I'm calling them to a meeting, all of them, together with civil society organizations. I did that for transport operators, I think last 3 weeks. I'm going to do that for district assemblies, and it's all geared towards these signboards that are wrongly erected. There are sizes, there are specifications, but I think the advertising companies have gone beyond those specifications. And all this will come, your media house will be invited, and we can take it from there.
Good. Is the Road Safety Commission concerned about traffic generally? I'm asking because, beyond the issue of vehicles breaking down, there's also the issue of traffic lights not functioning in certain parts of the city, and then certain traffic bottlenecks, which traffic lights don't really help. So, for example, there are places where if the police go and stand, traffic flows better because the police can anticipate the movement of the vehicles better than the traffic programming. Is free flow of traffic one of your remits, or is somebody else's job? I want to know that before I pose my next question.
Yes, we are supposed to ensure that there's safety on our roads. Anything that feeds into that is our concern.
Great. Now, are you aware of the Accra Traffic Management System?
Yes.
And who is in charge of that? And is it functional as far as you know?
Now, let me take time to do this. If it is about traffic lights, that falls within the mandate of urban roads. If it is about street lights, that falls within the mandate of Energy Commission and District Assembly. If it's about road markings in our regions, that is within the mandate of urban roads. If it's about road markings on our highways, that is for highways. If it's about road markings in our district roads, that is for feeder roads. But the Road Safety Authority is the regulator. We are like the headmaster who holds the whip and say that, why haven't we done this? So, for instance, when the Highways Authority were adamant in dealing with the Brim River issue, where I talked about the rail gas broken down and any vehicle can fall into the river, I issued a compliance notice. They've written back to me that they are sending contractors there to do it. So these are the various demarcations and the various jurisdictions of the road sector agencies.
Thank you for that clarification. So this Accra traffic management system, I am told it was under the Ministry of Roads. I'm asking if it's functional because Accra does not seem to be a city which has an intelligent traffic management system, if you get me. So are you interested in finding out the status of that system? Because I'm told there was a project paid for by the World Bank, I think some $3 million a few years ago, to build an Accra traffic management system. But we don't seem to know whether it's functioning or not and who is in charge of it.
That's a good one. I would get in touch with the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Highways Authority. We are in talking terms, so I would call him to update me on it. And if there are areas that I would, as an authority, deal with, they can be rest assured I'll deal with it.
Now, since you are the headmaster of the agencies that oversee road markings, street lights, and traffic lights, have you given any deadline to any of them? Let me give you a good example. From Teshi, there's a new road from Teshi Manette that brings you to Palace. Beautiful road. I think it's about 3 major roads, so about 6 lanes. Not a single street light, not a single road marking. Driving on it at night is a hazard. And that road is a very new road. I don't think that road is 1 year old. Obviously, somebody has not done their job. Have you written to anybody? What is the consequence for leaving a beautiful road like that with no street markings and no street lights?
So I pose that same question of why are roads completed and you don't find road markings on them? The Chief Executive Officer of Highways told me that in that case, they are not completed. It means that the contractor is yet to complete it. That there's no road that will ever be completed without road markings. He further went on to say that sometimes, because payment is not fully done, the contractor would have left that portion or that aspect of the work. So no road is completed without the road markings. It is part of the contract that you must do road markings. You have brought this to my attention. We are not everywhere, and so I would flag it, and I'll ask my people to go there and see it.
I actually want to encourage you to be very interested in this because the excuse they are giving you, for me, doesn't hold water. Once you've opened the road for people to use, you cannot tell me that the road is not finished. You've opened the road, there's no street light, there's no street marking. You are endangering people's lives. So maybe you should be able to give them a deadline within which when you open a road, those things must be there. Otherwise, you sanction them. I feel like there's a gap in mobility regulation in Ghana. and nobody wants to take responsibility. And based on what you've described, street lights, urban roads, traffic lights, this. So it's almost like everybody can do anything they want, and there's no central body to call anybody to order, which is why we are seeing the chaos in our city.
No, I have told you that the central body is the road safety. And in the last 2 months, I'm sure you have heard about road safety more than you have heard about it in your lifetime. We have issued compliance notices, 21 days for the district assemblies to comply with the removal of the unauthorized advertisement boards. We have issued notices. In fact, when I came in, my first compliance notice I issued was against 3M Express, the vehicle that runs very fast in the Kumasi Road. And I'm told that they have complied with the safety standards. So just draw our attention. This Tishi Road, I'm going to flag it. Today, there's a management meeting, and I'll deal with it. Once you let me know, I'll deal with it.
Good.
There was a similar incident at Underbridge, where there were advertisement boards which were covering the view of drivers. When they drew my attention, immediately I got there, they removed them the next day. So we are acting.
Good. I want to encourage you to probably give the public a number where, like a hotline for traffic reporting or something like that, where people can reach your office to give you active reports on what happens, because clearly the public send us a lot of this, but I think that your office needs something like this to give you a sense of what's going on. So if you have that number, I'll be happy to announce it in subsequent programs. My last question has to do with the Okada thing. So yesterday I spoke to a duty bearer who is in one of the constituencies along the Winneba Road. I don't want to mention the particular constituency, but the person was saying that as that road gets done, they are reporting many accidents every day because cars are speeding and motorbikes are also running into people and cars. Apparently, some of the curves within the Senya Breku area, when you are going to Cape Coast from Kasoa, there's a lot of winding curves. So it seems to me as if even before the legalization of Okada, with the expansion of that road, vehicles are speeding and there's a lot of accidents every day. What type of public engagement do you want to do before you fully legalize this Okada? Because the jury is still out there on whether it's a good decision or not.
So two things. There's research that has established that good rules also leads to accidents. So that is not a surprise. So what you need to do is to put in place what is called speed governance. So rumble strips, speed ramps. So you need to control the way people drive on the road. Don't let the people control the road. So it is established. New speed, new rules also leads to accident, because now the drivers think that it is their time to now engage in Formula One racing. But it is the authorities who must put in place speed governors or speed limiters that would regulate the way they drive on the road. The Okada issue is not something that people must be afraid of. The Okada issue is that as it is now, it is illegal. And so agencies such as us cannot even approach them to provide them with sensitization and driver vehicle education. When they become legal, at that point, we will unleash all our activities to ensure that they are abiding by road signs and road regulations. Before we would even ask them, before the legalization, we would ensure that this education starts. And that's why they are supposed to be in cooperatives. They are supposed to be in unions. The unions themselves would also have to provide some education. So there are different levels of education. There is driver education, there is road safety education, and the unions will also provide them with education. The Okada you see today will not be the Okada that will be in place if the law is legalized. There will be a new phase.
Thank you. We hope to talk to you soon. These are running stories. But thank you for your time, Abraham Amaliba.
Thank you.
He's the CEO of the National Road Safety Commission. Now let's read some quick reactions to the mobility concerns raised and our interview with Mr. Amaliba. Then I'll touch on a few other things. I'll move to Kumasi and speak to Hafiz Tijani shortly on the situation with the thank you tour. But
so
here are
there's
some
one
comments.
on our platform. Good morning, Kayla. Please ask Mr. Amaliba if there is a road safety campaign going on currently. There seems to be daily road crashes across the board, and I know you know this because the papers report it every day. But I think this is becoming very, very important. The number of crashes that we record on our roads every day. You only need to visit a police station to see how many vehicles are towed in there and others left on the roads. We understand that 648 people died as a result of abandoned trucks on roads. And that's an aside. And there are so many other fatalities we are recording every other time as a result of road crashes. So I think it's become an imperative. Good morning, Bernard and team. Please ask Mr. Amaliba why the MTTD does not start work at 6 a.m. because that is when the traffic starts, and the only way to prevent gridlock is by starting traffic regulation early. TK send that through. Good morning, Bernard and team. Please, could you kindly ask about the worrying trend of people destroying the barricades in road medians, allowing pedestrians to cross busy roads? All the barricades at the Medina Zongo junction have been destroyed, and recently the one at Spana also has been destroyed. I witnessed a Salem vehicle knock someone down at Spana last week. Wow. Do we need a towing insurance again? Why don't road safety authorities tow cars and charge owners so it's a pay-per-use service? My fear is companies collecting money but not providing services. Kwesi from Kumasi send that through. Bernard, please ask the DG what will happen to the huge trucks that come in and go to our neighboring countries who do not have the sea at their end. Will they also insure or subscribe to institutions here in that regard? Okay, he's talking about land-linked countries and trucks that use Ghana to such places and whether or not they'll be insured. The towing companies should be assigned specific districts or areas so that we all pay a certain amount during roadworthy renewal to ensure effective towing. I can't see how insurance companies will have towing car through the country. The law in the form he's talking about will not solve the problem. Eric from Dansuman sent that through. Good morning, Bernard. Please ask about the road markings. It should be the first issue, and there are other comments as well. Beku, please help with this. So, do we really have a system in place? There should be a system that would identify problems and solve them, not only 9-day wonders. All we are good at is PR, and to say we would look at it. Why didn't we look at it? Francis sent that from Adenta, is not impressed at all. Hello, Aloski. Please ask Mr. Amaliba about hawkers who have taken over pavements and now move onto the street or the road itself. Has the DG seen how these Okada operators have taken over bus stops and make it impossible for cars to stop? And we are looking to regulate them. Hello, Bernard. Good morning. I humbly suggest the National Road Safety Authority create a dashboard where citizens can make complaints with pictures and videos to help bring some of these road safety issues to their attention.
Okay, let me just get two comments from my two panelists before. So Caleb, Mr. Amaliba paints a very interesting picture that on the issues I raise, traffic lights, street lights, road markings, there are about 3 different agencies responsible. Traffic lights, urban roads; street lights, Energy Commission; road markings, urban roads or highways, depending on who is in charge. But he says he believes that the Road Safety Commission has a hand in all, and therefore he can be the headmaster of the agencies. Now, I don't want to do a legal discussion, but from a political perspective, he's putting himself out there to say, look, because nobody is held accountable for these things, it keeps happening. So I asked the question about the Manette Road to Palace. The road is done, people are speeding, no street light, no road markings. He says he's going to write to them to make sure that it is done. Sometimes they give explanation. Can the Road Safety Commission become that enforcer of mobility and common sense in Accra? Let me take your angle now. Take your angle. What do you think? Listening to him, is he arrogating himself? Is he interpreting his mandate correctly?
I think so.
You think so?
And I respect his position on the matter, especially when he's serving as in essence, the coordinator, facilitating safety on our roads, because his job is to ensure safety by working with the various institutions that have a role to play one way or the other in ensuring safety on the road. So the police, for instance, what is their role? The MTTD has a specific mandate to ensure that traffic flow on the roads is correct. People who do not have the requisite documents to be driving on the roads do not go onto the roads. The energy ministry and the commission for that matter, anytime you will buy electricity, if you check the bill clearly, you would have noticed that you are paying for, what do you call it? What's the name of the light?
Street lights.
Street lights. You understand? You pay for that. And in many parts of the national capital, we don't see the lights work. So someone has got to hold them accountable, or at least raise the issue.
Yes.
So that when he goes before the president and he's being audited, hey, what have you done over the last 6 months since your appointment? He will say that, look, he did A, B, C, D, push back on A, B, and C,
Correct.
and for some reason, someone is not acting. So he should be on their case. And then also the urban roads. You can't have a national capital or the major roads we have in this space not have proper markings. If it is a question of lack of budgetary allocation, you should say so, because we do know that in the budget every year, allocations are made for these institutions to continue to run. But for some reason, people go and sleep, they don't work on the road, and it is like nobody is in charge of the space.
I think his point was that when the people do the road, the marking is the last stage. And because people are in a haste to use the road, they open the road. So you are using the road and they've not finished. You get it? So are we going to say, until they do the street marking, they open the road? Or are we going to say, make sure you do the street marking immediately after you do the road, so that there's no space between finishing and marking?
You see, that is just one side of the issue.
Okay.
You do know that very recently we have done asphalting of many of the roads in the national capital. Many of these roads have not been, marked. So the point is that, yes, in some cases they open the roads before even thinking of how to put the infrastructure that supports the road to work properly. But the fact also remains that there are many instances where the markings go off, and for some reason nobody is getting to his job to ensure that the thing is done. I think Mr. Amaliba is starting properly. If he has the necessary support from the supervising ministry or ministries and the presidency itself, from the chief of staff up to the president himself and the vice president, I think he will do great things. Because, Bernard, for far too long we have allowed too many people to die on the roads. And there's lack of accountability. Drivers are doing anything they can on the road without fearing that there should be consequences. And the people who are put in charge to ensure that there are consequences are also not doing their part. So, Mr. Maliba, kudos to you.
You think he's not taking too much? Because I asked him a question. I asked him who should be held responsible for mobility problems. And he says, to the extent that Road Safety Commission is in charge of what happens on the roads, he will take that. So if there's 3 days of gridlock in Accra, we can say road safety is not doing his work. You agree that he's taking what he's saying he can do, he actually has the power to do it?
I think he has the moral responsibility to ensure it's done, and that's where it ends.
Okay.
He has the moral responsibility to ensure it's done, because you see, there are budget issues here. Okay, so it's like SIGA, where SIGA is placed, and the state-owned enterprises. In their organograms, you don't see SIGA anywhere.
Yeah.
Which means that legally they don't, quote and unquote, report to SIGA. Okay, but in all national endeavors, you have a hub and spoke relationship that will let the wheel move. So I see the connection between Amaliba's organization and the other sectors, including the law enforcement agency, including the police. Okay, because he won't get much done if the police is not aligned. And the police should not see themselves as we are doing our own thing and you are doing your own thing. The intersectorial, integrated approach to solving the problem is what we are looking. And for you call it commission. I don't know what legally that means.
It's now road safety authority.
Authority, okay, authority.
So now you have authority.
Yeah, whatever that means, we should look at it as an opportunity. And I think that we have the right leader at this time in Amaliba to ensure that this thing is done. Because hitherto, Road Safety Authority was not
They were
in
not
the
front
force.
Yeah, they were not. They were
You
shying
know,
away from.
They were involved in their promotion, education,
yeah.
but driving the whole space.
Yeah.
As for me, I have not seen that before.
Yeah.
So I think that he needs the attention of the top brass of government to ensure that what has to be done to ensure safety on our roads.
Which means
is
that
done.
if you want to promote a behavioral change driving campaign, I know you like social
Marketing.
As for you, that's your area. So you think road safety should spear? Because you know, yesterday I met one of the people who was saying that the Cape Coast Road they are doing now.
Yeah.
When you get to from Kasoa to Winneba, because of the mini curves, people are speeding as the road expands, and the motorbikes are crashing into cars. People are, and the person was telling me that almost every day there's a major knockdown in the person's constituency. Right. So again, there has to be some behavioral issues around how to drive, and Road Safety Commission may need to invest in some behavioral change campaign.
We need to actually revamp the authority itself.
Okay.
And what that means is we now have to bring on board different disciplines that will help them execute their mandate. Because, for instance, the Kasoa Winneba Highway, I am not so sure whether at this point Road Safety Authority is involved in any way. Okay? Shouldn't there be a situation where you would need a certain kind of clearance, safety clearance from Road Safety Authority? You know, so what I'm saying is that we need to ride along with him to make sure that this Road Safety Authority now takes its right place in the whole road safety issue in this country, because we haven't seen it this way before. And I think he's doing a wonderful job.
97.3 CDFM. We are following up on some matters we raised yesterday. We hope the traffic situation is better today. Caleb, finally, before we move to another topic, yesterday's rains exposed a familiar problem. The Weija to Kasoa Highway had some challenges. Can you describe what you saw?
So there's a video on our website, on our Facebook page. When people go there, they will see it. It had rained in the evening, and road users were at the bus stop. The place was flooded. They were struggling to get vehicles, and the vehicles, they were struggling to get buses to join to get home. And then the buses were also having a difficult time driving through.
Is it the same place that
water.
gets where like the silt from the hill comes down and then it blocks?
So towards that end there was massive flooding. So the rains had run onto the road. It had slowed down the traffic for those that were driving, and particularly for the pedestrians now who were trying to find a car to board. It was a very, very hard time for them. So imagine just being stuck in the rain. This is the video I'm talking about. So Old Weija is the specific place I'm talking about. And the caption says, tensions rise at Old Weija as frustrated drivers and pedestrians grapple with worsening gridlock. So the rain's really running on the road because the drains possibly choked, so the running water spills onto the road, and now pedestrians walking through rainwater at night. Sometimes these scrub boys pick the metallic rail that is used to fix the drains that connect the road, so it gets really risky both for drivers, because your car could run into it, or for those who are now walking through it. And sometimes, as we have heard, some electricity poles have had their cables fall and all those things. So in the unfortunate situation where some of these cables fall in the rainwater, the worst could happen.
See, the reality is that on this particular stretch, this thing happens a lot, especially when it rains.
Wow.
Because I go to that side of town every now and then, sometimes to do court duties here and there. And sometimes you have to park your vehicle where, in order to avoid any, problems. You remember that sometime during the life of the previous administration,
Yeah.
they had to send national security there
Yes.
to actually desilt, some of the drains that had been choked as a result of consistent erosion from the thought. And many of these things are also as a result of how people built on the hill.
Correct.
You understand? So it rains and then it takes the sand with it.
Yes.
And then straight into the drains.
It's around the tuba area.
Exactly.
Always.
Yeah, so I think there has to be some serious enforcement of the laws around how we build in that enclave. And then also it would require the engineers to do some re-engineering.
Charlie.
Because the fact that some work was done there in the last administration, and it would seem that the problem hasn't been decisively dealt with,
all.
then we need to find a more, useful solution to the problem.